Okay.
Yep, I'm recording. And I'll
Okay.
have my assistant get it to
All
you.
right. I have the distinct pleasure of being able to talk to Tommy Migrant this morning. We've been in the network ever since the very beginning. I'm not sure when you started, Tommy, but it was very close to when I did. Obviously you're very successful. And one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about is how men can succeed in this business, because it is based on the fact that the top 10 coaches, I believe, are all women. And I didn't see any men there, but anyway. And in my case, I just, as we were talking before, I just turned 64, and that makes it even more difficult. Right. But there are challenges that we all face on different levels, and mine is certainly not that difficult, because I've been in the business for so long, and I have the ability to share my business and so forth. But anyway, do you want to talk about it, Tommy, for us?
Yeah, I think it's easy, honestly, like you said, I've been in the network almost 7 years now. I'm kind of like you. I've been around since before Facebook and before challenge groups and before challenge packs and before any of that stuff.
Before everything, when it was, we were finding our own way, right?
Not Success Club and all those things, and so I've seen a lot of change in this network, and I think at the time, with Power 90 and P90X, those products were bringing in a lot of men like me and you and so forth and so on. I think what I've seen recently, with this influx is I think sometimes when other people are succeeding so greatly that we can sit back and get frozen and paralyzed because we think that we need to be doing what they're doing. We need to be going after what they're going after. And because what they're going after doesn't fit who we are, then we tend to do less and we tend to get frozen, right? And for a long time, I was a weight loss guy. I lost over 100 pounds with P90X. And I was also someone who was really passionate about my local community. I wanted to impact people in my local community. And when I really look back at what I've done, and anytime I feel like I'm getting stuck and I'm looking at these other women and because the image of our network is almost like if you're not a young, fit, attractive, driven woman, that you're not going to have great success. And that honestly is not the case. I mean, I think what's important is this, that one, we accept who we are, that each of us are called to serve a certain kind of person for our certain specific reasons, right? And we can look at the territory they're serving. We can look at the people that they're reaching out to and that they're building with and be like, well, I wish I was that. But the truth is this, hey, I'm a man. I was an overweight man. My heart speaks to the mission against obesity because that's who I am. And for a long time, as a coach, I thought everyone else should be serving that same mission, right? Because that's what I was passionate about. So I think where people go wrong is that they don't come to full grips with the fact that they're supposed to serve a certain kind of person, and just because we have these women, listen, if that's not who you are, then I don't think you need to go create something based on that. I think you need to create something based on who you are and who your heart feels served to go after and help. So for me, it's really this simple. It's finding your niche. Right? It's finding the people. I talk about this with my team all the time. So when I do my group trainings, because let's face it, when you're in a network, there's different types of people that get in for different types of reasons. But when it comes to like finding your niche, I think what's important is this: one, to clearly identify the people that you want to help, right? The people that you want to help. I mean, we're on a mission to help people. That's actually our mission statement. So whether you're you, Richard, who's a 64-year-old man, or whether you're me, who was an overweight man and I'm 40 years old, I think it's important that we determine, first of all, who we want to help. The truth is, why can't we have a growing network of the 50 and over crowd or the 60 and over crowd? This stuff is absolutely great for them, and quite honestly, they have less money objections because a lot of their mortgages are paid off, their debt is less. So you actually have an opportunity, and they're starting to get concerned with their health. I've been waiting for someone to really go blow up that sector. You know what I mean? I really have. In fact, I actually look for people who are 55 and over, and I talk to them about that because I know there's a huge need. My father is 64. My mother is 62. And I know what this has done for their health, right, at that age. So, but the only reason that hasn't blown up is because nobody has caught a vision that that's what they're supposed to do, right? Like to sincerely go after that market and to target that market. So my thing is this, find your niche. For me, it's weight loss, food addicts, those types of people. And then once you find your niche, figure out a way to go find the people that fit that niche and then message yourself to it. That's really all these women have done, right? They're going after people who they relate to. They found their niche, they message it to that niche. We don't need to duplicate who they're going after. We need to duplicate the thinking behind why they did that. Does that make sense?
Exactly. And ironically, the topic of the call that I wanted to develop last night was niche marketing. Right. Because, if you're trying to market to a group that you can't relate to, just as you said, it's going to be so much more difficult. I mean, it's like pulling teeth. But if it's people that you would want to hang out with and you can relate to on multiple levels, right. And really feel compassion for and be passionate about helping, it would be so much easier. And, we didn't talk about this beforehand, but, you hit the nail on the head. So.
In fact, in my Emerald to Diamond groups that I run, there's a whole topic on finding your niche and targeting it. And I use Tara Carr as an example. Tara Carr, 15-star diamond, she's been able to retire her husband from the military. And really, she built her whole business with two target markets. She was a mom, and she was also a military spouse. And she went, and that's what she went at, right? Because she could relate to those areas. Like you said, it's hard to speak. There's times when I've spoken on stage and I'm speaking to a group of people who have had overcome weight issues or financial struggles, because I come from both of those things in my life, and I feel at home when I'm on stage. And then I've been, I've been invited to speak to, like a platinum presenters meeting, and I sit there and I go, these aren't my people. They're great people. They're just not my people, right? And I think that was really, in my opinion, that was God's way of opening up my mind and my heart to say, no, I've called you to serve these people, right? So I'm giving you this weight loss community. There's a lot of people out there struggling with food addiction and weight loss, and because my story and my heart can relate to that, because one, I've been that, two, I am that. So and this is what I tell people. I think one of the biggest skill sets that people can learn once they figure out what their niche is. So the first thing is figuring out your niche. Figure out who you want to serve. Figure out if you're going to go build a team of people, who are those people going to be, and why is it going to be them, and how do you relate to them, right? I think that's a primary thing. And then the second thing is learning how to present to them. Right? How do I present to them? And so I've really developed, I created the 5-step process, but I've also developed, and this is what I train my team on, is like this 5-step presentation that invokes emotional response and connection with people, right? Because let's face it, we're in a people business. And so, and because we use a lot of social media, in this network, and a lot of my coaches use things like Facebook and they're, posting on Facebook, there's a big difference between just saying, hey, this stuff is great for you, you should do it, and then also speaking in a way or posting in a way that invokes an emotional response from the people. So once you've identified, so the first, number one is this: identify your market, identify who it is you want to speak to, right? Number two is this: present the problem and the issues that they have because of who they are, right? So let them know, here's the problem. I know how you feel. I know what it feels like to be 64. I know what it feels like to be overweight. I know what it feels like to be a stay-at-home mom, whatever your target market is when you've identified it. The third thing is relate to them. Share your personal story or the story of someone that you know that comes from that same situation, right? Number four is then share the solution that helped that person overcome the problem. Right? So Beachbody is the solution, whether it's fitness or whether it's coaching or whether it's Shakeology or whatever it is. It's my little girl. She likes to work with me. This is work from home problem number one, being a stay-at-home dad, which is super awesome.
Tommy, I've done it since I started in January 2007, and Grace was almost 3, and Carly was almost 1
Right.
And I've done it the entire time with two little girls in my office. So, there's an excuse buster right there, right?
Yeah, no, and you know what? I think it's an absolute blessing, because what's incredible about that is, a lot of men have to leave the home and go work all day, and they barely get time with their family, barely get time with their kids. And the fact is, I can wake up in the morning and put a couple of hours in, and then spend a few hours with the family and get my workout in and go run errands or whatever I have to do, and then maybe put a couple evenings a week, work a couple of hours, and if I get my 15 hours in a week. I can maintain pretty good progress in this business as long as I have a plan of action. And I think that's another thing where people get stuck, is that they're constantly thinking that because someone else is having greater success, it means they have a better way, when really it just means they took more action. They just took more action. And so we can stay frozen and paralyzed and go, oh man, I don't know how I'm going to do this, right? I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't fit. The fact is this: we're not looking to fit in with the crowd that's already in, right? I mean, that's one thing we have to wrap our brain around, is this: we're not looking to fit with what's currently already here. We're looking to take people from the outside and show them why this is good for them as well. You see what I'm saying? And so you're trying to fit with them, and you're just trying to connect them to Beachbody and what we have to offer through Beachbody being a solution in their life. She also likes to talk on Zoom. You know what I'm saying? So I just think it's one, accepting who you are and accepting that you've been called to serve other people that are like you. Obviously, no matter who you are, you found value in Beachbody. It did something for your life, and that's why you decided to become a coach, right? And I have to believe that there's more people just like you who would also find value if we just figure out that's who we need to go after. And that's what we need to speak to,
Yeah, I actually, the point of signing up as a coach was to be able to help people that I sold polar heart rate monitors to. When I started, I was one of the largest internet number 3 internet retailer of polar heart rate monitors in the nation. Right. And I thought, okay, well, I sell them a product. But if I can coach them through the Team Beachbody opportunity, right, that would enhance the value of the product that I sold to them. But little did I know, within a year and a half, that polar heart rate monitor opportunity would go away, because U.S. marketing went in a different direction, and they wanted to sell through Walmart and Target instead of through humans who could really help the people that he sold the product to. And I became a full-time coach just because it was, what I had. Right. And I am so grateful that I did sign up. We don't all know, none of us know what's going to happen in the future. If I had known that I was going to lose my entire income within a year and a half, I would have been more aggressive developing the Beachbody opportunity.
Richard, you have such a great point there, because I've seen this time and time again where people, they have their plan A, what brings in the majority of their income, right? Whatever their salary job is, whatever their hourly job is, their full-time job, and they think that that's going to last forever. And because of that, they don't go as hard at the plan B. They don't go as hard at whether that's Beachbody or whatever else they choose to create a secondary income with. I had a girl on my team who she understood this, that nothing else it's not guaranteed, right? And so she was a full-time marketing executive for a firm in Cleveland, and she had been with them for 8 years and had done a great job, had received promotions for them. And then one day she gets a call that she's no longer going to be with that company. And all of a sudden she saw her, $85,000 a year income completely wiped out. Now, fortunately for her, she had spent 2 to 3 years really going after Beachbody, and was to the point where she had replaced the majority of that income already. She was already making over 50 or 60 grand with Beachbody. And so then she said, you know what, I'm not going to go get another job. I'm going to do Beachbody. Why? And she's really went after it. She's now a 3-star diamond, and she makes a 6-figure income and makes more and doing it from home. But there's a lot of people out there that don't. I had another guy on the opposite end of that story who was an incredible representative in the farming industry, and he worked in the farming industry, and he sold machinery, and that's what he was passionate about. always expected that he would have that job forever. And so and even though he had this desire to do Beachbody, he never found the sense of urgency to do it, right? He didn't treat it as an urgent matter. And all of a sudden, and he had done nothing as a coach other than hang out, right? He hung out, but he had never built anything. He never went and helped people. And he lost his job. And, and I had actually been, he was a friend of mine. So I kept saying to him, Kevin, hey, listen, there's a reason why you feel the pull to do this Beachbody thing. You've been telling me for 2 years that you have this internal desire to do it. You just haven't done it. And I just don't want to see it come back to bite you. Well, he didn't do anything with it. And 6 months ago, he loses his job, right? Completely loses his job, loses all of his income, something he never expected. And because he hadn't worked at the Beachbody thing, he didn't have any backup coming in. And he had no base to start from. And all of a sudden, he's in scramble mode, right? So I think a lot of people, when I see people who have done this kind of all out, it's people who felt the sense of urgency to do it, whether it was an immediate sense of urgency because they had no other income, or whether it was because they were trying to create a situation where they could get out of a job they were miserable at, So I think that's one thing is you got to find your sense of urgency for whatever purpose and reason that it takes for you to get motivated to do it, because if you don't have that sense of urgency, if you're someone who finds yourself feeling like you want to but not doing much, then you need to look at what's driving you or not driving you.
Yeah, as we both know, we're not promised tomorrow. And as men, we're called to lead our families and provide for our families. And if we do this without a backup plan, depending on a single source of income, and don't have, a secondary income stream or residual income coming in, I mean, that is really, not being true to our families and leading our families as we should. Yeah. And I'm 64. I've been running for almost 50 years, coming up on 50 years, and I still run well. And I was thinking as I went out on my run, why am I not sharing the fact, and this is a segue into how to share to your niche, the fact that I'm 64, I don't take any prescription medications, I run as often as I want, I'm doing P90 now because I wanted to try it. I like to try workouts before I share them. Right. I'm following, I have it auto scheduled, I'm doing the plan and everything, and I'm doing that all at my age. Right. I never go to the doctor. I don't have to. I've been drinking Shakeology since the day it came out. So, when the first point we talked about was having addressing a niche. The second point should be how to address that niche. And you don't have to sell to that niche, because if it's a niche, you already relate to them.
You already speak their language.
Right. And you can share, okay, well, look, I lost 100 pounds. Right. And I get to, work from home like you do, right. and and be with my kids or whatever. And I'm 64. I don't go to the doctor all the time. I'm not worried about, did I take my medication or this medication, or, I have the opportunity because of Beachbody products to drink Shakeology every day, to do their workouts from home, and to run a business that I can provide for my family. So, that's the second part of the equation is, you don't have to sell to your niche. You just share with them because
you share with them, and you relate to them because you are them. You see what I'm saying? I mean, you are them. You know how they feel. You know what they're going through. I mean, who knows better than what those people deal with than than you, because you are them, And so it's just like Tara Carr with military spouses. She knew what it felt like to be a military spouse and have a husband going off to war. And she knew that immediate desire to keep her husband out of that career. And so that, and so she shared that. And as a result, she has a huge group of military wives that do Beachbody with her, And so, but I think you're exactly right. I think that, let's face it, no matter what the niche is, our job is simple, is to identify their problem and to solve it, and to show how Beachbody helped us overcome that same problem, right? Or how it helped us prevent that. Like in your case, exercise and healthy nutrition, we're advocates for healthy living. That's really what we are, And so the fact that you can say, listen, hey, I know what it's like to be 64, and one of the things that is honestly heavy on my heart is that there's a lot of people 64 that are in pain, that are in physical struggle, that are in financial struggle, and I know it doesn't have to be that way. Even if they just start a beginning exercise program and start drinking something healthy every day to get them started to feeling better, I would hate to see my peer group feeling like crap the last 20 to 30 years of their life, and so and then share what you do and how you are avoiding the problems that they're running into. I mean, that really is the simple thing is here you are, Richard, you're 64 and you're not running into the same physical problems that many of your peer group is. And the reason is because you do exercise and because you are associated with Beachbody and you do use the stuff, and that's helped you stay healthy. And so that's what they need to hear.
So we're going to wrap it up because I know you're busy and we're busy because we're both sharing this opportunity with everyone. But so the third thing that we should make sure that everybody knows is sharing the sense of urgency. Right. And for women, especially with children, if they have to go off to work and put their children in daycare or whatever, there is no greater urgency because they want to be home with their kids. Right. They want to be taking care of their kids, watching them grow up, all the milestones and everything. And with a Beachbody opportunity, they can do that from home. I mean, there's no doubt in the world because so many women are successful at it. But men, we have to see, okay, we've been in this job that, for 20 years, we're coming up on retirement. But in today's society, it's not unheard of. In fact, it's become very common for companies to get rid of you right before they have to give you a retirement package or the benefits that you were, working all those years to get. And if we don't have some source of income, some preparation for that day or for that just in case, then we're not being true to our mission as men and providers.
Right. Well, yeah, because you don't have a safety net.
We don't have a safety net.
And
exactly.
Your family could fall off a cliff. I mean, your family could legitimately fall off a cliff, and then you're stuck scrambling trying to figure out. When really, if you would have just used this as a season of preparation to prepare for, there's no guarantee that you're going to lose a job or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I think we do our families a great service when we create something, through something like Beachbody, through what we're doing with Beachbody. And yeah, I think you're right. As men, we should be looking at a way to protect our family. And if, I mean, look, man, you can spend your time doing a lot of things, right? There's a lot of men that spend time golfing. There's a lot of men that spend time, watching TV. There's a lot of men that spend time, doing whatever they do, and they could be spending that time actually creating something as a safeguard for their family, versus wasting that time doing these things that really, trust me, you go lose your income. You're not going to be worried about what's on TV that night. You're not going to be worried about, how good your golf score was. And things of that nature. And so, it is an opportunity. And I think you're right about women. I think, and that's another thing, I mean, one way that you can approach men is to share the fact that maybe their wives have an opportunity to do something. Maybe the men actually don't want to do the work, but their wives might have the time or the desire or the ability to do it. And so, I've made a lot of friendships with men, where I've suggested, hey, I think your wife would be great at this, and I'd be happy to mentor her on what we do. If, and if you guys could bring in an extra $1,000 a month, would that help your family? And he says, yes. And I said, well, why don't this is where it helps in a spouse situation if the spouses are on board, right? Because I have my wife, and I can just say, well, listen, why don't we connect your wife with me and my wife, and then, and Ashley can talk about how it's helped her stay at home with the baby and all those things. So, working as a team can also work if you're in a spouse situation.
Yeah, we're not talking about an opportunity where we go off to do something. We're working from home. We can do it with our spouses, right, and be great role models for our families. Right. And it doesn't get any better than that. I mean, we may have jobs. Hopefully, your wife is at home, or you can provide for her enough that she is. But if not, if she's off working, when you come home at night, you're not going somewhere.
Right.
You're working together on a common goal to provide more income for your family, to bring, one spouse home, and then eventually both.
Yeah.
And with a goal like that, and then the noble mission of ending the trend of obesity, it doesn't get any better.
No, it doesn't. And I'm living that, I'm actually living that. I think what people have to realize is when I came in, I knew nothing about network marketing. I didn't, I just had a desire to help people.
I didn't either.
And I knew nothing about how to do this. I just went and did it,
Right.
and then created something from it. But the fact that I was able to leave my job as an insurance producer and do this full time. Now, I still coach high school football. And I don't know if you know this, but I coach at one of the top high school programs in the country. In fact, the program that I coach at has produced more NFL and Division I college athletes than any high school in the country, right? So and that's something I also take very seriously, and that's a big part of my life. So I still maintain, so I don't want people to think that that they can't do this if they have another full-time thing, because I still do that. I mean, that's more of a part-time thing. It's like 4 hours a day during the season, but I still have other things in my life. I don't think your whole life has to be surrounded with just Beachbody, but I can tell you that the freedom that we have, the fact that I am home during the day, the fact that in the evenings, as well, I'm not stressed out about something else. I mean, we're my family, and listen, I'm a guy that spent 20 years obese, miserably depressed, completely broke, maxed out on credit cards, didn't know how he's going to put gas in his car, to now we're able to earn, a mid six-figure income as a family and have friendships all over the country, not stress about things, and to have that common vision for our family together. It's been an incredible thing for us. And more than just this, I mean, I've seen other people just within my organization create similar situations, which is awesome.
Right. Well, Tommy, I can't thank you enough. We do have to share our message because we are success stories, and to help other people, we need to share it. So again, thank you, Tommy. I can't, this has been fantastic. It's been years, but it's been fantastic talking to you again. And you have a great rest of the day. Thanks.
You too, Richard. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye-bye.